And here with this week's recipe is your host, Rebecca Dixon.
Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of Microwave Magic. So today we're going to be making a fan favorite, a brownie in a mug. So for this recipe, you're going to need one microwave safe mug, one small bowl, and you're also going to need 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of unsweetened cocoa powder, 2 tablespoons of oil, 2 tablespoons of milk or coffee or water, your choice, and 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips, as well as just a pinch of salt. And I brought whipped cream and nuts today to put on top, but that's going to be for later. So I know most of you won't have a lot of these things just lying around the house, but maybe you could sweet talk that one friend you have with a car into going to the store for you and offer to make him this as a reward for his generosity. So let's get started. First, we're going to mix together the dry ingredients, which are our flour, brown sugar, and unsweetened cocoa powder. And these have all been pre-measured in order to save time. But you want to make sure you get the exact right measurements, because if you put in too much cocoa powder, it's going to be really, really sweet. And this is already as rich enough as it is. So we're also going to put in our pinch of salt. So you want to mix that until it's nice and smooth. And that can be hard with brown sugar, because brown sugar can be in clumps just because it's usually packed in tight. We're just going to mix that. There we go. Until it just kind of looks like it's one ingredient rather than 3, or technically 4, but. And there's a lot of clumps of brown sugar in here, so I'm just trying to mesh those out. Okay? And that should be about what it looks like. So that's going to be what you want to see. Now we're going to go ahead and add our oil and our milk and our chocolate chips. Most of these things you can get for they're relatively inexpensive, but they'll last a long time, even if they are, just because you're not using very much for this recipe. So that's just if you feel like having a brownie and I don't really have any in the Met Hall. And this one, you're going to want to stir it until it's nice and thick. So it's going to kind of look clumpy like cookie dough. It's a little different than how brownies usually look, and that's because I'm putting this in the microwave. Okay, and so that's kind of what it's going to look like here. I'm going to mix it just a little bit more because it's not all mixed in together yet. There are many, many recipes for how to do this. Some of them are simpler than this. I like this one because it had a lot of chocolate chips, and I figured it might make it taste more chocolatey. So there we go. So that's about what it should look like whenever it's ready. So almost there. I'm going to go ahead now and put this in our mug. And you want to make sure that your mug is microwave safe, because otherwise paint chips off, it could get stuff into your brownie. It's not good at all. So if you're not sure, check on the bottom of your mug before you start doing this. And if you don't have a microwave safe mug, I got this one at the grocery store for $1. They're not very expensive at all. Most mugs nowadays are microwave safe. This is a great way to have a little treat. Okay? So when we come back, we're going to put this in the microwave, but first a word from our sponsors.
I used to feed Phoebe Purina until I found out about the unnatural ingredients in that food. So I decided it was time to change her diet.
After switching to Puppy Supreme, Phoebe has been more energetic than ever.
Puppy Supreme is not available in stores. It is $19.95 and has a money-back guarantee.
So we're back, and whenever we left, we were making a brownie in a mug. So we finished up making the brownie, and so this is what it should look like. It's not going to fill up the mug entirely, so it just kind of gives you a way of cooking it. So now we're going to put this in the microwave, and you can either cook it for 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, depending on how you like your brownie. I like my brownies more gooey rather than like well done and hard, so we're going to go ahead and start that. And so like I said, there are many different ways that you can make this. There are some recipes that have eggs in them, or you could try putting coffee in it instead of milk like we did. Might give it more of an espresso chocolate kind of taste. The one thing I don't recommend using though is baking soda. I've seen a lot of recipes that had baking soda in there, and it's just with the microwave, it might not. Baking soda is just really weird, so it might not work right with the baking soda, and it'll make it all hard and crispy. My sister once used baking soda for some hot cocoa brownies, similar to this, but instead of using 3/4 of a tablespoon of baking soda, she used 3/4 of a cup. Needless to say, they were not very good. And you might have a similar result if you try using baking soda with this, because it's hard to make good stuff in the microwave, but this recipe is a really good one. So we're almost done making our brownie, and so you can ready your toppings. So I've brought some pecans and some Ready Whip. Now you can also put ice cream on top of this and make it a brownie sundae, put some sprinkles and hot fudge on top, and it will be delicious, because when it comes out, it's nice and hot, perfect for a brownie sundae. So you're always going to want to shake this up first, because otherwise it's not cold and it does not come out very well. Okay, so now our brownie is done, and this may vary based on the voltage of your microwave and based on how high your microwave is set to. So this is what, I'm going to go ahead and hold it with this because it's hot, but this is what your brownie should look like. You see now it's a solid instead of that dough, so it looks really good. It actually kind of looks more like cake than a brownie, but let's go ahead and try this out, because it's really, really gooey. It's just kind of falling apart there. So we're going to take a bite before it burns my mouth. Really hot, but really good. Really, really hot. So some whipped cream on top might help with that. I'm also going to go ahead and sprinkle some of these nuts on there. Let's try it now. But you can top it with whatever you want. So for recipes like this one and many others, you can check out our website at www.microwavemagic.com. Hot, but you want to wait until it's not hot in order to eat it, because otherwise you'll burn the roof of your mouth like I just did. Okay, so to talk about your ingredients and where you can get them from. We got our unsweetened cocoa powder. I used Hershey's unsweetened cocoa powder, and that's kind of the brand name. You don't have to use such a high brand name. You can go for a cheaper brand, but it makes it taste really rich. And while it costs $3, you get a container about this big. So since you only use 2 tablespoons, it'll last you a while. And then I just use store brand milk and store brand flour, sugar. But for the most part, you can get this stuff cheap anywhere. So I hope you enjoyed your recipe. Please comment what recipe you'd like to see next time, and we'll see you back. Thank you so much for joining us. Oh my God. My tongue is so bad. I don't either.
It wasn't